You guys better settle down for this because rumors have it that Nicki Minaj filed for divorce from her husband of 5 years, Kenneth Petty. Fans have been pleading with her to leave Kenneth for years, but this is actually a hot mess because it seems like Kenneth has been controlling Nicki with drugs and manipulating her. Nicki appears to be sick and tired of being treated badly by Kenneth, and she not only filed for divorce but also allegedly filed for a restraining order due to the violence. So you better buckle up and hold on to your baby hairs because this situation is worse than we anticipated. The craziest thing is happening right now in 2024 because it's being reported in the media that Nicki Minaj has secretly filed for a divorce from Kenneth Petty after 5 years of marriage. To make matters worse, fans didn't see this coming. It has nothing to do with Nicki specifically, but rather with Kenneth and his passion against when Nicki and Kenneth first got married. Fans were ecstatic for her, believing that she was living the fairy tale of their dreams with their long-awaited happy ending. Their love story discovered that Nicki and Kenneth had a long history together, dating back to their teenage years spent growing up in the New York area of Queens. They were also high school sweethearts who parted ways for a period before being married in 2019 in an extremely covered ceremony. Fans were thrilled for Nicki when she announced her big day on Instagram, pleating their Mr. and Mrs. mugs and rocking bride and groom snapbacks. However, it didn't really make sense at the time because Nicki has always been outspoken and bold with her celebrations. Why then did she choose to keep her wedding so secret? Makes sense then, glancing back now that we've all come to some sort of understanding. We can all see why she chose to conceal the marriage. She reasoned that fans would not approve of Kenny because of his highly contentious and dubious past, and she was undoubtedly correct in that regard. In 1995, Kenneth was placed under strict supervision after he was accused of sexually abusing his ex-girlfriend. From 2013 to 2018, the state of New York classified him as a level 2 offender, raising the possibility that he would make a mistake again. This all stemmed back to 1995 when he was allegedly using weapons to coerce his ex-girlfriend into, well, you get the idea. When he moved to California in July 2019 and married Nicki, he was arrested for failing to register as an offender. He had to pay $20,000 to get out of jail, and since we still don't know what he does for a living other than being Mr. Nicki Minaj, I think we can all agree that Nicki paid the fine on his behalf. However, there was one thing that didn't make sense. Why didn't Nicki encourage him to register knowing the risk? And as if that wasn't bad enough, news broke in 2020 revealing that he could spend up to 10 years in prison and be on lifelong supervised probation. According to one source, the issue that the courts will possess is acceptable. I understand that. But the issue is that just because he's famous now doesn't mean he wasn't famous when he was first required to register. He knows what he's supposed to do, and he didn't do it now. To say that the fans were upset would be an understatement. The idea of the world's most notorious rapist marrying someone like Kenneth was insane. There were many fan pieces about this, including one from someone who said, "I wish I felt bad, but I don't. She's mean to other women, and she defended her brother at his sawchild then." The company you keep now makes you consider some background when you think about it. It's not all that surprising that Nicki ended up with a man like Kenneth. It also didn't help that she constantly defended Kenneth against the internet, writing that he was young, she was young, and in a relationship but go off internet. Nicki's brother was arrested for sexually abusing his stepdaughter, who was only 12 at the time. Even worse, during the trial, Nicki wrote a letter defending her brother and asking the judge to be lenient in his sentencing even after it was established that he had sexually assaulted the girl. We adore Nicki Minaj, but this is not acceptable. Did she truly think that having an intimate relationship without your partner's agreement is okay because her spouse was previously seeing the victim? Things took a turn for the worst in July 2022. Petty was placed under house arrest for a year after moving to California without registering as an offender in 2019. He also had to pay a substantial fine of $500,000, which I'm sure you all want to guess who covered. That's who, Nicki, and we were ramming that day, so Nicki was forced to stay home rather than travel and embark on a tour. When Kenneth's ex-wife, Jennifer, spoke out and filed a lawsuit against Petty, Nicki's team allegedly went into overdrive trying to silence her. They allegedly dangled hundreds of thousands of dollars in front of her to keep quiet, but Jennifer wasn't having it. She came prepared with solid evidence to push back against Nicki's attempts, even revealing that she'd been in touch with the U.S. Marshals who claimed to have information about Kenneth. Fans weren't buying it, especially after learning that Nicki had attempted to hush up her husband's victim by hurling money at her. "You just can't make this stuff up," discovered hard evidence about what actually happened in 1995. Y'all, the drama of it all. And this made Nicki appear even worse as she was raked for dirt with some very good arguments made by others. This person stated that regardless of how much you enjoy Nicki's music, it is wrong to ignore her actions. She has openly accused her victims of lying and even attempted to buy their silence. You can still enjoy Nicki's music, but for once, STS needs to put down their rose-colored glasses and hold their favorite musicians accountable. As other fans have pointed out, Nicki doesn't really have, and working with men who have been accused of sexual assault is a problem for Nicki because she previously collaborated with rapper and convicted offender Tekashi 69. In October 2015, at the age of 19, 69 admitted to using a third 18-year-old during a performance. Nicki quickly defended 69, saying, "I wanted him to perform with me at the VMAs. When I know somebody, there's nothing you can tell me about him. That's just how it is." Y'all, Nicki really needs to get some handling on her relationships and social media because she be going off and making herself look even worse. After Nicki married Petty, it seemed that her music career in terms of album sales took a nosedive despite welcoming a daughter. The shift was quite odd and out of character for Nicki, especially given her usual message of empowerment and chasing your dreams no matter what. Back in September 2019, Nicki very bluntly teased her retirement from the music industry to the Shade Room and shortly after made the announcement to her 22.2 million Twitter followers, saying, "I've decided to retire and have my family. I know you will understand." Nicki welcomed a precious baby boy into the world. It seems like she put her career on hold to be a full-time mom and stand beside Kenny. "I'm still here, still madly in love with you guys, and you know that in retrospect this should have been a Queen radio discussion, and it will be. I promise you guys will be happy. No guest, just us talking about everything." The tweet was abrupt and insensitive. "I apologize, babe," in a later interview with Billboard. Well, guys are happy now. Horrified, Nicki fans responded in with devastating noses, and some even asked her why she couldn't be a mom and a rapper at the same time. Nevertheless, she seemed determined to be over and done with the music thing to protect her husband. At this point, fans began to wonder if there was something else going on behind the scenes because Nicki was blowing out hot and cold. This is where the rumors that she was allegedly being controlled and manipulated by Kenneth began. Nicki changed her mind about her retirement plans, saying, "I love music and interacting with fans, so I can't really see taking myself completely away, but I want to be open to other possibilities in my life." Then Nicki, after declaring her retirement, she said that her fans had hurt her feelings. "I didn't know my fans would act like that with the tweet. It hurt my feelings because I feel like the way I did it was maybe insensitive to my fans, but I didn't think people were going to take it, and I didn't know it was going to be that big of a deal, so that's why I deleted it," she said. Things got worse when Jennifer Huff, Kenneth's 1995 sub-victim, came out and said that Nicki and Kenneth were harassing her and were also forcing their friends to do the same. Additionally, Jennifer stated that she has been forced to. Nothing could make that situation worse. Jennifer released a shocking revelation, alleging that Nicki and Kenneth paid someone called Black $20,000 to lie and pretend that Kenneth never mistreated her. Basically, they were attempting to buy her silence. Since Jennifer didn't sign up for any of this, let's face it, she didn't sign up for any of this drama. She properly filed a lawsuit against Nicki and Kenneth. This particular detail sticks in my memory because it's important for what will happen next. Although I've witnessed my fair share of outrageous celebrity scandals, this one is on par with the others, and you know how these stars can get into some crazy situations. Nevertheless, Nicki, Kenneth, and by failing to meet the deadline for responding to the complaint, their legal team made a mistake. Jennifer and her attorneys took advantage of the situation to ask the judge for a whopping $20 million in default judgment. For those who are unfamiliar, a default judgment occurs when one party in a lawsuit does not reply, forcing the judge to make a decision without considering their side of the story. Jennifer was perfectly within her rights to ask for a default judgment, but before we even get to that point, you should be aware that Nicki and her husband were sued separately, and they aren't legally bound to each other in this situation because they even had separate lawyers. Nevertheless, Nicki's default judgment was canceled, but Kenneth's was not, and he isn't backing down. He has responded to the default judgment, and let me tell you, that man didn't hold back at all. In fact, he spilled so much tea that even I was shocked. What did Kenny have to say in response? Well, he also claimed that he didn't respond because he couldn't afford a lawyer when his girlfriend was having an affair. Nicki Minaj. When Nicki got tired of making ends meet, Kenneth decided to clarify that he had been found guilty of attempting to violate Jennifer in 1994 rather than of violating her. He further stated that their encounter was consensual and that he was only found guilty because he was a scared 16-year-old with nowhere else to turn. Kenneth further accused Jennifer of trying to paint him in a bad light when he had never been found guilty of that. Finally, he claimed that neither Nicki nor Kenneth had asked anyone to threaten Jennifer, but rather that man Black did it of his own free will because he was friends with Nicki, and Kenneth claimed that he had never asked Black to speak with Jennifer, give her money, or anything else. He said that Black and Jennifer had been friends back in the day, and that Black had asked Kenneth for Nicki's number, which he then gave to Jennifer so that they could resolve their differences. He further claimed that Nicki had called Kenneth, not the other way around. At this point, fans began to wonder what on earth Nicki had seen in Kenneth. Nicki was humiliated by the entire drama and couldn't possibly love him that much, risking her entire career in the process. Imagine being at the top of your rap game and then having your husband drawn into a messy situation like this. It's even worse when her name is brought up constantly and she has to pay thousands of dollars in fines while continuing to defend her husband on social media. It's too messy for a queen. However, it gets even worse because it turns out that Sell wasn't the only crime Kenneth was found guilty of or sentenced to prison for. To grieve for the 2002 murder of Lamont Robinson, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison but was released after serving 7 in 2013 and was on supervised release for 5 years, which means that when he and Nicki started dating, he was on supervised release for unaliving someone. He was originally charged with second-degree murder during the 2006 trial, but a plea agreement reduced the charge. According to reports, the defendant Kenneth Petty shot the deceased Lamont Robinson multiple times with a loaded handgun, causing his death. You would think that someone with all of this history, past issues, and embarrassments caused to his wife would keep his head down and stay out of trouble. But no, he violated his probation when he threatened rapper Offset last year. Last year's video went viral of Kenneth and his friends outside calling.
See, I just spend that shit. Them niggas that, nigga. They go Kanye, nigga. On the shop, man. On the shop, yeah. We outside. Big two outside, nigga. Big queen, right? Yeah.
Things escalated when Ken threatened to make things worse.
Fucking money, man. What's up?
Yeah.
Man? Huh?
You don't know niggas. They said you don't know niggas. Niggas too.
I'm at vacation.
Yeah.
Planning your funeral, pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the way to the street, nigga. Do everything, nigga. Let's play. Let's play. What's up?
We'll meet you there, nigga.
The situation escalated dramatically when Ken threatened Offset, despite being on probation, inviting trouble. People criticized Ken for stirring unnecessary drama with Cardi B and dragging Nicki into it. The backlash intensified after Ken shared private messages with Offset, revealing their heated argument. Offset had DM'd Ken, asking him to meet, accusing him of not handling business like a gangster. Ken responded defiantly, mentioning Offset's past and challenging him to face up. Their feud continued online, with insults hurled about money and status. Ken crossed a line by mentioning Takeoff's tragic loss, implying Offset should use his wealth for vengeance. Their exchanges escalated, both daring each other to confront in person. Speculations arose about an incident at the VMAs triggering their animosity, supported by Offset's unexpected DM. Ken's threatening video against Offset went viral, leading to legal repercussions. He was sentenced to 4 months of house arrest for parole violations, recorded making threats with a person with a criminal record. The probation officer recommended electronic monitoring to limit Ken's movements and encourage reflection. It was a childish situation, as Ken overplayed his hand, violating parole openly. His bragging backfired when legal documents revealed his violations. Offset remained free while Ken faced confinement, adding to the controversy around Nicki's association with Ken. Allegations surfaced about Ken manipulating Nicki with drugs, as blogger Ken Barbie suggested. The rumor claimed Ken used drugs to control Nicki and exploit her financially. The speculation gained traction over the years, exacerbated recently by disturbing videos. The public debate intensified about Ken's influence on Nicki, paralleling Wendy Williams' troubled past. The narrative painted Ken in a troubling light, highlighting concerns about Nicki's well-being and the influence of her relationship. The allegations of drug manipulation sparked broader discussions about power dynamics in relationships and substance abuse. The controversy surrounding Ken underscored broader societal issues, including the scrutiny of celebrity relationships and the public's role in judging personal matters. It also raised questions about accountability and responsibility in the entertainment industry. The saga exemplified how personal disputes can spiral into public spectacle, drawing in not just the individuals involved but also their associates and broader fan bases. It showcased the power and peril of social media in shaping public perception and the consequences of airing personal grievances online. Overall, the saga involving Ken, Offset, and Nicki served as a cautionary tale about the consequences of fame, social media, and personal choices in the modern age. It highlighted the intersection of celebrity, legal issues, and public scrutiny, leaving a lasting impact on all parties involved and prompting reflection on the complexities of fame and relationships in the public eye.
They're yelling, push. You're in pain. Then one day, it comes out, a beautiful baby boy. To God be the glory. Congratulations to every mama out there. You're doing a great job. In case no one's told you that, you're doing a great job.
Rumors are swirling that Nicki's loved ones staged an intervention, prompting her to finally leave Kenneth. Allegedly, he was not only emotionally abusive but also physically violent towards her. The situation has turned chaotic, with fans noting the irony of Nicki being dumped by the same person she defended for years, now embroiled in multiple legal battles. There's speculation that Kenneth may have influenced Nicki's lifestyle, possibly even introducing her to drugs and exerting control over her appearance and self-esteem. The narrative suggests he manipulated her into believing he was her only source of love, which is deeply troubling. It's a tragic turn of events for Nicki, who previously mocked others for airing their relationship woes online, now finding herself in a similar predicament. The situation highlights the adage that what goes around comes around. Despite the sympathy for Nicki's plight, there's also a sense of frustration and disappointment. Many feel she fell victim to Kenneth's alleged manipulation and abuse, questioning how someone with her fame and success could end up in such a troubled relationship. The unfolding drama serves as a stark reminder of the complexities of fame, relationships, and personal choices in the public eye. It underscores the importance of support systems and the dangers of unchecked influence within relationships. Overall, the situation is heartbreaking and complex, sparking discussions about power dynamics, emotional abuse, and the harsh realities of celebrity life. It's a sobering reminder of the challenges faced by those in the public spotlight and the scrutiny they endure.